Hello, today I drew my friend and fellow YouTuber Danny's Gacha Oc with my own style, and I apologize that the screen completely flipped. It usually doesn't do that, so I apologize that it's sideways now, and you probably had to turn your screen. But with that aside, Danny's got some very good animations in Gacha, and I will link their description down below. Somehow they joined later than me and have already surpassed me in subscribers. And they haven't really told me their secret. I hope that they are watching this video right now. So me and Danny are actually friends in real life. We met one time when we were little because we were out doing chalk or something. I don't know. And so that's how we met, and we've been friends for a long time now. So I'm currently using the app Procreate, and you might recognize it, especially if you're an artist, because it's very popular. But I'm not so much comfortable with the digital art stuff. I'm getting used to it. I'm very much a traditional artist, and so it's kind of weird, and it's a different medium for me. And so this isn't the best I can do, but I think for digital art, this was, at least for me, this is actually pretty good. And as you can see, I started with the eye shape, and I was adjusting it because it turned out it was very slanted, and so I thought that was kind of weird, and it turns out looking a little wonky. This video I had to cut down so short because it was originally like 45 minutes, and I decided nobody has the time to watch a 45-minute video. So it is sped up a lot, actually. And my iPad was having trouble downloading it. But anyway, so here I am outlining the eyes to the picture. I was very closely trying to make it resemble, at least as closely as possible, to the original Gacha character, which is very intricate, by the way, Danny. Why'd you have to make it so hard to draw? Because it is just so detailed. But I mean, I actually thought this was pretty fun, and I would highly suggest, like I said, checking out Danny's videos. Right now, I was doing this skin. I feel like I'm getting very off track in this video, like I'm all over the place, but, so here I was doing the skin using the airbrush tool, and I guess I did. I had it at complete high opacity, and it wasn't as pale as the original Gacha Oc, but I mean, I think it was pretty close. I should have used that tool. In Procreate has this tool where it'll like color match it, but I mean, I don't even like coloring. I've mentioned that in a previous video. I'm not a huge fan of it. I know a lot of people think that it's like relaxing. I kind of think it messes up the art I'm doing. So, my art is usually just black and white and shaded. So, this is multiple things are done differently in this video than my usual art. And when it comes down to the style, it kind of looks like my art style. See, I am very used to drawing figures with like more severe features, so it is a little bit different than how I usually draw. But like I said, I still think in the end it turned out pretty good. I was adding the like blush kind of stuff that's under their, like, the OC's eyes, and I couldn't really figure out like what opacity to use, so I kind of just settled on like lower opacity to get the look I was going for. And then I was messing with the layers, trying to figure out how to do it to try and minimize the amount of like fine-tuning I'd have to do at the end. Right now I'm shading the nose. And like I said, even like with like traditional art, I usually do shade the nose a little bit differently because it's a different medium for me. And then I drew the mouth, which I decided to keep as close as possible to the mouth of the original OC, though I changed it a little bit. And then I went in with the eyes, which I was trying to use that color fill tool, which can be pretty inconsistent with its results, but so I was filling that in, and then it kind of filled in the whole eye, and I just wanted the pupil, so I had to bring back the highlight, which was okay. And here I'm recoloring the rest of the eye white. And then a little tip for Procreate, when you're coloring, zooming in as close as possible I find is very helpful, because then you can see the pixels and it's easy to get really close to the lines that way, I find, especially with shapes that are a little bit less like that aren't as like easy to color as a circle or a square. I think that it makes it a lot easier when you're doing. And so I was finished coloring up some more of the eyes. I don't know, the voiceover just got like wonky because it cut out. So if it's like overlaps, I apologize for that. I am very new to YouTube, okay? But with that being said, make sure to subscribe if you like the content that I'm making, because, I mean, I've just started out on here, but I would really appreciate if you subscribed. But moving on, I then erased the rest of the head because that looked really weird. And then I adjusted the angle of the mouth because in the Gacha character, the mouth is at an angle. It's a little bit smaller too, but I liked it. And I realized also that I forgot to draw the glasses, and so I added those in. And the hair is where I really started to struggle, because all of the little strands were messing me up and I couldn't figure out how to do them. As you can see, I started off kind of with just the shape on, like the general shape, and then I kind of went from there and had to do a little bit of tweaking to the shape of the hair and the extra little strands. So, and like I said, I was doing reshaping. I was like trying to draw the strands and figuring out like how thick I wanted them and how I was gonna do it, because the hair is so like detailed, like it's got a specific look to it. It's supposed to look like messy, I think, and so I was able to settle on something that looked somewhat like what I was going for, but it doesn't really look exactly like it. And then I added the scarf, which I got rid of later because I wasn't originally going to do like, I was originally just going to do the head of the character, but then I decided to do part of the body, only the upper part though. So this is not the scarf that I ended up using, because I had to get rid of it to figure out how I was going to do the rest of it. As you can see, I'm using like that color match tool to get the color for the neck. And then I went in and I think I added, the horns, which this very useful tool in Procreate got me to make them to look exactly even, where you basically just have to copy and paste it, and then you can move it to the other side and flip it, and there you go. It's an exact model, and they look exactly the same. One of the horns was a little bit lighter of a pink, it looked like, while the other one was darker. Though not very much. It was a very similar looking shade. At least in my representation of it, it looks a lot lighter in the video. And then there are some leaves in front of it, which I added. And the color I used for the leaves are actually the exact same color I used for the eyes. And then I went in and added the little details for the leaves. And then I decided to do the eyebrows, which were very thick. And I just made the brush I was using bigger for that. I didn't, do too much with that. And then I was trying to figure out what layer, where to place the layer for the hair highlight that in a way that would make it easier to draw, but also, it would show up. So I decided to go, above, the horns and everything, but below the eyebrows. And then this is where I decided that I was going to draw, the upper half of the character. And so I added the scarf. I had to redo the scarf so that way I could properly draw the shoulders, and I was struggling to do that in a way that looked normal, because I thought that looked very weird, how straight the shoulders were. So I did a lot of experimenting to figure out what would look right, and I settled on sort of straight coming out, and then it curves. Then I redrew the scarf to go on top and struggled to color it. And then I just I added the rest of the arms and then the torso, which I was having trouble figuring out which shape to do, and that's where I decided to just add the arms and not worry about the legs. She's wearing some short hoodie or just a sweater, and then before I colored everything else, I drew the rest of the scarf and then the lines that go through the scarf, and then I decided to outline everything. So I outlined everything with the same exact brush I'd been using, just thinner version of the brush, and then I had to make the brush thicker to color in the middle because it's a black sweater. And then for the arms, I used I just lightened up the color and make it more of a gray so that way you could distinguish between the shades, and so that way it didn't look like the arms were attached kind of to the middle they were, but so that way you could distinguish between the two. And then I did that color matching thing again so that way I could draw the bottom part that shows that comes in between her pants and her sweater. And then I outlined it, and it looks like I was pretty much finished at this point. I was just adding last minute things, and I had to sign it, of course, and then realized that usually your signature is supposed to be smaller, and the good thing about digital art is you can change everything and stuff. So that's a benefit. And here I was just adding the finishing touches, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!